4 of the fantasy football season, and here's a few quarterbacks I have as sleeper options this week. The first guy, Geno Smith of the Seattle Seahawks. So Geno Smith, believe it or not, the first few weeks of the season, he's played good football with 2 ball games out of the first 3 with 20 or more fantasy points. Week 1 versus the Denver Broncos, 195 pass yards, 2 touchdowns, 14 rush yards. Week 2 at the 49ers, a down game, 197 pass yards, an interception, and 2 rush yards. And then last week in Week 3 versus the Falcons, he went over 300 yards with 325, 2 touchdowns and Into in that one. So right here, Week 4, good matchup in an indoor game at the Detroit Lions. We know the Lions, they're vulnerable to giving up points, and their secondary don't make many stops. And Pete Carroll last week said he's going to unleash Geno, and that's what he did in Week 3. They made him throw the football more. DK Metcalf, he had a great game in that one. Tyler Lockett, he's been off to a way better start this season than he was last year. And Geno Smith, he's taking chances. He's playing good football. And right now, available in tons of fantasy leagues still is Geno at 89%. He's definitely a quarterback you could use if you're in a pinch as a sleeper option in deeper leagues, the 2 quarterback leagues this week. The next guy, Jacoby Brissett of the Cleveland Browns. So Jacoby Brissett in Week 3 had a great ball game. And 2 out of the last 3 games, he's been good as well. Week 2 versus the Jets, 229 pass yards, a touchdown, and Into 43 rush yards. And Week 3 versus the Steelers, 220 pass yards, 2 touchdowns, and 11 rush yards. So Week 4, another good matchup here at the Atlanta Falcons. Indoor ball game in Atlanta. They're a young defense that doesn't get many stops and make big plays. And Jacoby Brissett, so far, he's had a good rapport with Amari Cooper. And even David Njoku broke out with a big ball game last week. But right here, I think the running backs, Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb, are going to have good games. Cooper, I think he could get the ball to. And if Njoku does play in this ball game, I think he could be a decent option as well. So Brissett, he has a few weapons. He's going to be starting at least another 7-8 weeks for this Brown team until Deshaun Watson gets back. And this week here, he's available still in 94% of fantasy leagues. And I got him as a quarterback sleeper this week, and the third and final quarterback I have as a sleeper option this week's Cooper Rush of the Dallas Cowboys. So this Cowboy team 2-0 with Rush on the center after Dak Prescott went down with the broken thumb. Week 2 versus Cincinnati, 235 pass yards, a touchdown. And Week 3 at the Giants, they went in there versus a 2-0 Giant team in MetLife Stadium on Monday Night Football. And he looked poised in the pocket, and he has an accurate ball with Cooper Rush. In that one, 215 pass yards and a touchdown. But CeeDee Lamb, he dropped a walk-in touchdown. That would have been like a 30 or 40-yarder, which would have had a bigger ball game for Cooper Rush. But anyway, this week here's got a good matchup versus the Washington Commanders. That don't stop anyone. We've seen a lot of quarterbacks have big games versus them. But Cooper Rush, his ceiling's probably 20 fantasy points. But in deeper leagues and 2 quarterback leagues, he's a decent play this week, and he's available in 95% of fantasy leagues. That's a few quarterbacks I have as sleepers here for Week 4 of the fantasy football season.